What fear gets to you? Maybe it's spiders, snakes, loneliness. Maybe it's a pretty normal fear of death. But I think something that all scares us, maybe even just a little bit, is that empty void of space, commonly referred to as astrophobia. This fear is what we call an irrational fear. We don't know why it's scary, it just is. For me, space scares me because of the vast empty voids with planets and stars so spread apart, just there doing their own thing. Then when you escape, it's just blank. The massive expanses of space triggers some sort of existential terror or meaningless, though that there are objects in space that are not only much bigger and much older, but also more essential to the universe. But even those giants that we think of aren't even the biggest or most important. For me, the massive scale of space, along with the thought of space, scares me. This fear is called Astromegalophobia. Today, I'd like to talk to you about this. Not too thought of, but very prominent fear that occurs to many. So think with me for a second. Imagine you're in a spaceship and you've been traveling currently at the speed of our fastest spaceship ever, the Parker Solar Probe, at roughly 635,000 miles per hour. For 400 years, you've currently gone the fastest any human has ever. How much do you think you would have to go to leave the solar system? Maybe you've already finished it. Maybe 50? How about 30%? No, it's none of these. You have only gone 1% of the way to leaving the solar system. It would take approximately 39,600 more years to exit the solar system if you go at a constant speed. That's just how massive our solar system is. But in reality, the solar system is just a ant in the scale of the universe. Introducing UI Scuti. This massive star is the biggest star ever discovered. It is an astronomical 1,700 times bigger than our own sun. If you took a commercial airplane across it in diameter, it would take you 1,200 years to get across just the diameter, actually. Talk about raw dogging that flight. As massive as this UI Scooty is, it's not even closest to the biggest object in our universe. In fact, it's not even close. Introducing a black hole called Ton 618. Ton 618 is the biggest black hole ever discovered. Ton 618 is about 40 billion solar masses, or solar masses is the sun, the mass of the sun. Ton 618 is twice the size of our whole galaxy, the Milky Way. UI Scuti is giant. However, it's only around 0.3% of Ton 618. If light started crossing this massive black hole when the Earth was just created approximately 4.5 billion years ago, the light wouldn't even be halfway across the diameter. It would still have about 5.567 billion more years before it just crosses. This object is so absolutely gigantic, it warps time itself. And this isn't even that absolute biggest object in our universe. No, it's not even close, actually. That title of the biggest object in the universe belongs to the Hercules Corona Borealis Great Wall. That's a mouthful. This galactic filament is estimated to be around 10 billion light years across, 7.2 light years wide, and 1 billion light years thick, 7.2 billion. This object takes up 1/3 of the observable universe. Yes, you heard that correctly. This object is so absolutely massive that this alone takes up 1/3 of our whole universe. Granted, this object is what we call a galaxy filament. Galaxy filaments are big walls or conglomerations of many galaxy superclusters, which are millions upon billions of galaxies in a cluster, hence the name. Nevertheless, this object is so massive that we can't put into words how long it would take to fly across it. When scientists discovered this object in 2013, it debunked the whole theory Albert Einstein made on a theoretical limit to the size something could be, known as the cosmological principle. It changed the way scientists thought of size in space. And here we are, just on this rock that's not even the biggest planet in our solar system, much less object in the solar system. This is not to crap on you or your problems and say they're insignificant to the size of the solar and to the size of the universe, but just to get the scale and why space is so scary. With all these giant objects, it's kind of creepy that the universe is so spread out and it's not so crowded. Well, for us at least. It's so mind boggling, and not even for the size of space is just so mysterious, but it instills some moral or natural existential fear. What I mean by that is, as much as we have explored space and discovered about space with our telescopes, some scientists say we haven't even explored 1%. Actually, we haven't even explored half of 1%. And scientists state that it's physically impossible that we'll ever explore 100% of the universe. And theoretically, if the universe never expanded and never died out, it would take us impossibly long to discover 100%. Time scientists and mathematicians theorize it would take us to discover the whole thing would be millions of trillions, even some quadrillion years, going even at the speed of light. Just to give you a scale on how big the universe is, hear this. Light is at the fastest thing in the universe. Nothing is able to go faster. It goes 299,792,458 miles per second. And the universe is about 13.8 billion years old, or to 26.6 billion years old, depending on what scientist you ask. The universe is approximately 93 billion years in diameter. That means that the light from the beginning of the universe hasn't even reached the edge of the universe from the middle starting point. If it started from one point and kept on going to the other side from the very beginning of the universe, it would only be 1/3 of a way across. From the little amount we explored, we have no clue what to expect. We don't know what's out there. What if there is a race of aliens that are warmongering geniuses that plan to destroy everything in their path? What if we discover a peaceful monk-like race of aliens that live peacefully with us and works with us? What if there's no race but alien exploring species that's a giant beast that wanders outer space? If there is, are they peaceful giants? Are they aggressive? Is there even anything out there? Are we really all alone? And if we are, that makes it much more creepy. Imagine an impossibly large space that would take forever to explore, and there's just one race in that space. Us. This picture, the blue dot, is a picture taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. It shows a blue ball in the middle of space with a light ray illuminating it. That's us. Everything you have ever known, ever heard of, ever loved, ever talked to, ever texted, ever called, ever kissed, ever existed, or has even been conceived, has been from that blue dot. Only few people have left this blue dot, and all of them have either came back or died in space. When you think about it, we're either special to be the only intelligent life form, or merely just an insignificant race that's new to this world, with other life forms much more intelligent and have explored much more. Imagine this: if you knew what was out there, if you knew that more than we did, and if you knew that maybe there's other races out there, or if there's simply none, would you tell people? Would you tell people even if it scared everyone? Actually, would you be scared or would you be fine with it? Let's say you knew we were the only ones. Would it scare you? And to follow up, if it scared you, would you tell people, possibly scaring everyone else? This is not a question that is going to be judged. It's just to see how scared you really are of it. No Man's Sky is a game that does this fear justice. As you play it, you explore a massive world with tons of planets and stuff, but it gives you a sense of loneliness and insignificance. As you discover things in this world, you will find huge black holes that you fly past that are just so mind-boggling, really big. It takes up your whole screen, or almost your whole screen, and it shows you how small you are compared to it. You might feel like you're not important to this massive world. You might feel like your character exploring this game is just small and not that essential to the survival of this world. Seeing back to real life, seeing the moon from the earth is terrifying and gives us our first sense of distance on that we know and can almost see asteroid impacts on the moon. And that's a lot because we know most asteroids are huge, and the fact that our moon, which is so much smaller than Earth, has so much asteroid impacts that we can hardly notice it from afar and looks so small, and it's just a fraction of our moon. Going the opposite way, the thinnest thing you can see is a strand of hair. This is not even near the smallest thing in the universe. The smallest thing in the universe is technically quarks. Here is a fact. We are closer to the size of the universe than we are to the size of a single quark. Mind-boggling, huh? Yeah, that big section on megalophobia is just the opposite with this. It's hard not to get scared, even just a little bit. I mean, there are things that literally make the sun look like a grain of salt or a grain of sand. And we generally think the sun is gigantic, which it is for us. That's the thing about space. There's always something that's bigger by a lot, and we don't even know what the whole universe looks like or how big it is. We only know what the observable universe is. Even then, we don't know everything about it other than vague and minuscule data. Imagine what's outside the observable universe. Is it infinite? Is it finite? If it is, how big is it? And is there anything outside the universe if it is finite? I mean, like, is there other universes, like a multiverse? Is it nothing? Is the edge of the universe the edge of reality in our dimension? And here we are on this rock arguing about politics and conflicts, surrounded by the huge void of unknown proportions. Here is a quote by Edgar Mitchell, who was an astronaut. You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, and intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it. From out there on the moon, international politics seems so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of a neck and drag him a quarter million miles out and say, "Look at that, you son of a bitch." This just empathizes the inessential feeling that space gives us, makes problems look petty, conflict just stupid. The universe is giant, and a lot of the objects make us feel horribly tired. So that leaves one question unanswered. Do you have astromegalophobia? Hey, thank you for watching. This took me so long to make, so if you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean the absolute world to me. And thank you so much. Goodbye.